Good evening, instead of good morning. Actually, I was supposed to do this at 8 a.m. technically this morning, but I just gotten back from the Southeast Game Exchange, which is what we're talking about today, and I was pretty tired, because flight didn't get in until about midnight, give or take, so I didn't really get to sleep till about 2:30 this morning. So I decided to sleep in, relax. I was off today, so I figured it would probably be a good idea to, just take a little bit of me time, chill out, and then I figured I would go ahead and do it tonight after I had a chance to sort of decompress, get everything unpacked, so actually looking at all the footage and everything that had come up. Smash, what's up, man? How you doing? Lit, hello! Thank you so much for coming back, and it was awesome meeting you at the Southeast Game Exchange. Neo, how's it going, man? I appreciate you stopping by. Quicksand, hello. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about my time there and why it was so incredible. And like, if you're not familiar with the Southeast Game Exchange, it's a really good time. If you're a gamer, you'll definitely have a great time. If you're like a video game content creator, specifically within the YouTube space, it is a tremendous opportunity to meet and connect with a lot of really cool, really chill, down-to-earth people. And I'm not just saying that because like, ooh, you can go there and network, and then you can do collaborations and do all that, and I can gain some sort of benefit. It's also just like a tremendous recharge for your batteries. If you're somebody who gets a little bit tired or stressed out from working on YouTube, which is not uncommon. There's a reason burnout's a thing. So to that end, if you ever have the chance to make it to one of these conventions, absolutely worth it. Lots and lots of good people there, including some of the people that were in the chat, like Lit Gaming, who I got to meet for the first time. Neil says, missed your streams, dude. No worries, man. It happens. Henry, hello. It has been a while, Henry. Thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate it. Doing well. Can't stay too long, but wanted to say hi. Right on, man. I appreciate you hanging out for a minute. Hopefully you can make it over to this side of the country sometime and make it to the Southeast Game Exchange. That would be fun. It's 1 a.m., so actually late here for once. Yeah, I know you're normally there pretty early, man. So, in regards to the actual travel down there, or I guess the backstory for me even going to the Southeast Game Exchange is I did a panel there. Specifically, it was called 10 Tips for New and Aspiring Gaming YouTubers, which was really just a collection of things that I'd sort of learned throughout, my time being a YouTuber, which again, about the past 18 months, been on YouTube for about a decade, but only really would consider my YouTuber over the past 18 months, or 2 years or so. Diggs, what's up, man? Checkpoints, what's up, man? Hey, Josh, how you been, dude? Currently playing Control. Ooh, let me know how that is. I totally forgot that was dropping, actually. Been busy with college, my dude, but just want to let you know I'm alive. I'm glad. I did see a new video pop up from your channel, Henry. I'll have to check it out. So that's the backstory. It's like, Austin hit me up. This was back in June, I think, or around there. And he was like, hey, do you want to come do a talk at the Southeast Game Exchange? And, in my head, I was like, no, that sounds like a horrific idea. It's that sounds really scary and stressful. I don't know if I'm up to it. But then I forced myself to say yes, because I think doing scary things builds character. And I'm super glad that I did, because now if somebody ever asks me to do one in the future, I won't have to be terrified of what that experience will be like, having now, done it myself. Let's say, sadly, we couldn't hear you in the crowd. Really wanted to hear what you had to say. It's okay. I recorded the audio closer to me, so I'm going to try to put it up on the channel at some point, Lit, and that was one of the, unfortunate parts of that panel, but I'll talk about it here in a minute. For now, just know that is the reason that I was going down there, and it was Saturday and Sunday, and the first day that I went there, first off, just huge thanks to J-Love, who essentially became Uber for me. I actually picked the wrong hotel on accident, so a bunch of, all the cool kids were staying over in a completely different hotel, and I was sort of kind of on the other side of town, but she was so nice, and, basically just picking me up each morning to go to the convention, so huge thanks to J-Love for that. Very sweet of her. And, so for day one, the biggest thing that I did, even though I did walk around the convention floor and check out everything, and I did pick some things up, but I'll do a separate pickup stream for that, because I need to organize all that stuff. But the biggest thing I did on Saturday wasn't really just, going around and, like, buying stuff from vendors or anything like that, but the biggest thing I did was go to all the different panels from a lot of these YouTube creators who went down there to do the same thing, and they were tremendous. All of them were super fun. The first one that I went to was, because I actually had to double check because I couldn't remember the order of a couple of them. But the first one was actually BP Retro Power's panel on repairing games. And it's one thing, like, for me, I was like, well, how much content could there really be there? Like, I didn't think that initially when I first thought, but whenever I personally think of, like, keeping retro games in good shape, I kind of fall back on the standard stuff, right? Like, when you're a child, you blow in the cartridge, which I learned very quickly from BP Retro Power was an absolutely horrible idea for, I believe it was rust reasons. But then, that's the thing, like, I had no idea how in-depth the process of maintaining old cartridge-based games actually went, and he did a tremendous job of explaining all of that, not just kind of talking, but then also providing literal, like, physical examples of boards inside cartridges and showing the different types of damage that had affected them. And it was incredibly interesting to learn about, what things are right to use, what is not right to use. And then he almost gave a full primer on the act of soldering if you're somebody who really wants to get hardcore about it. Jay, what's up, man? Pixel Game Squad. I was getting to you in a second, sir. Thank you for stopping in. Conventions are always a fun time. You never know what's about to happen. Pixel Game Squad NES. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with the chat real quick. So yeah, listen to his whole spiel about maintaining these games and what goes into it. Also with Creepy Todd, I forgot to mention him, was incredibly interesting. And I actually did get a lot of video when he was passing around these boards and showing the different types of damage that can occur to the boards within like an NES or an SNES cartridge. I tried to get some video briefly while I was holding them so I could kind of illustrate it, because I want to put out a Twitter video that kind of showed more about what his panel was all about. That's the thing. Since I decided to do this crazy idea of only live stream for the next 90 days, I realized very quickly as I was shooting all this footage, I was like, how can I use this? And really the only way I could do it is if I slide clips into the live stream right now, if I transition away from them, which takes a little bit of extra work, which I didn't have a chance to do yet. Or I can get around this restriction by making pre-produced videos and putting them out on Twitter, which is probably what I'll do. But aside from just being a really informative, very cool panel, if you're a retro game fan and you want to make sure old games can stay in good shape, or if you want to get adventurous and take on some of the repair operations yourself, very cool thing that was worth seeing. And also, absolute sweetheart that Brandon is, he actually gave me this is like a Pro Controller stand, and I didn't even know you could 3D print and sort of a grading here, but he was like, this kind of matches your color scheme. He's like, I don't want to travel back with these, so I'd like you to have and he gave me 2 of them, and it looks absolutely incredible. Like, they're really quite solid, and they look gorgeous, and it's even got the Switch logo right here. So yeah, it was a great time, great panel, and I really, really enjoyed it. And the next one that I went to would have been, sorry, I'm double checking here, was the retro gaming community with Jay, NES Addict here, and then Jay Love and Russ Lyman as well. And that was a lot of fun too, right? Just a lot of really cordial, sort of down-to-earth conversation about what the retro gaming community is all about, how these creators sort of stay in touch with each other, and some of the things to think about, if you plan to join their ranks, as it were. And it was really, really well down to earth, or really well done, very down to earth, and it was just very conversational in nature. And it's weird because my panel wasn't until Sunday, so I'm already watching a few different people do panels, and it sort of made my tension level rise a little bit, because I was like, oh man, these guys are doing really good and they're making points that I was going to make, but I wasn't like, ooh, how dare they make points that I was going to make in my panel. Honestly, it was just sort of validating. Like, I was listening to it, I was like, hey, I guess I'm not a complete idiot. Some of these make sense and other people see that too, so that was actually kind of a cool thing, kind of validating. Your panel is a success when you cry on stage during your panel. Yes, I will get to you in a moment, because that was fantastic. Not the crying, just the panel. Sorry, that probably sounded really weird, Riff. Snow Bunny, hello, thank you for stopping in. Crying, we all did it. I didn't see you cry too many tears, I don't think, Jay. I want to go to a con or convention someday, maybe when I have the time, I suppose. It's absolutely worth going to, Henry. You'll have a phenomenal time. Good time. Many good times were had, absolutely. Generation Gap Gaming killed it too. Yes, absolutely. But the next one that I saw, aside from, just watching, Jay and Russ and J-Love, was the Pixel Game Squad YouTuber Trivia panel, which was really kind of a combination. One, it was just sort of a fun, engaging, borderline game show kind of presentation, right? Essentially what they did, which, if I get anything wrong, Riff is actually here, I'm sure he can correct me, but they were showing basically extreme close-ups of certain YouTubers, and then you had to guess which one it was, and if you did, you would win a prize. And some of the prizes they had on offer were things like Nintendo Power magazines, and a couple of adapters, which I'll show you the one that I got here in a second. But at a certain point, I think a lot of YouTubers, I know I was super hesitant to volunteer for this, because I was like, man, if I get one wrong, I'm gonna look like an idiot, or people are gonna be like, that dude don't even love the gaming community, he doesn't know who this person is. And I thought I could evade it, but in just a horrifically terrifying move, Riff forced me to, by, I think, forcing me to volunteer to get up and do it. Thankfully, I didn't get it wrong, although I almost got it wrong. I don't know if Smash is still in here, but I thought at first who I was looking at was Smash, and then I was like, wait, I don't necessarily know if that's Smash or not. I think it's 8-Bit Eric, and I did guess correctly, it was 8-Bit Eric. And then I got this Hyperkin HD TV cable for GameCube, N64, and SNES, and the weird thing is, at the time I was like, well, I've got an HDMI modded GameCube, I don't know how much use I get out of it, but I totally forgot, I have no HDMI solution for my N64, and that's a system that I've been dying to get back to, so much so that fairly recently I was like, when are they going to start getting these N64 clone systems out that have native HDMI, right? That's what I really wanted to do. And I hadn't really looked at any other adapter possibilities, but the fact that I got one from Pixel Game Squad's panel was incredibly welcome. Thank you so much, Riff, again. And then, the other part of that, when he talks about kind of getting teared up a little bit, was actually a very poignant and very down-to-earth talk about his experience with some of his fans, or, just the Pixel Game Squad channel, I guess you would say. And they were just really quite touching and heartwarming, and that's the thing that I really loved about listening to Riff, or since you're here, listening to you, I guess, is just, how transparent you are, and especially getting to hang out with you sort of, off camera, I guess. The fact that he's the same dude on camera as he is off is absolutely tremendous, and it's almost like no subject was off the table, even when one particular audience member, anybody who was at the con knows what it was, asked a very pointed question. I feel like Riff handled that very artfully and in a way that could best be described as diplomatic, and I think that was probably the right play. But ultimately, it was just an incredibly informative, down-to-earth panel. Like him and Chris both did an amazing job on it, and I had a lot of fun at it. Let me see if I can catch up with the chat real quick. It's best to make the fun times the best time you've had. I agree. I have a question. I thought there was supposed to be game music trivia. What happened? That's, I think, what was originally on there. I'm not sure. Pixel Game Squad can probably answer it. Thanks, man. I appreciate that so much. No, dude. Seriously, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate, just hanging out with you, seeing that panel, and also you taking the time to talk with me a little bit, sort of, off convention, I guess. Not off camera, but off convention. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Jay says, gotta read my kid a story, but I'll watch this later. Right on it. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to go past an hour. I don't want it to be so long that it becomes laborious to watch. But I did, at least while it's fresh in my mind and I had such an amazing time at the convention, talk about it a little bit. So, next up actually was, I think that was the final one that I did watch, was Generation Gap Gaming, and he did like an NES Secrets and History sort of thing, which I thought was really brilliant, not just because like it was a fun format in its own right. Essentially what he would do is he was asking multiple choice questions, first person to shoot up their hand and then get it correct would win a prize. He had a few different things that were available, and specifically during the later rounds he was giving out a complete unboxed copy, I believe, of Zelda, Punch-Out, and I think Rygar, which I think, that was one of the questions, I think that's his favorite game. But that was a really fun format, and I love the way he did it, not just because it had obvious value to the audience, because they had the ability to win something tangible, learn something fun, but because he did it through the lens of the content he regularly puts out on that channel. It was also a really great way for him to sort of promote and kind of give people a taste of what he had there. And then watching, I was like, I really should have done like a visual aid or something, but, that's something I can improve on next year. For right now, I'm just glad that I did a panel at all. But yeah, that was a tremendous panel, and one that, I think I tried to get one question right that was centered around LJN, and I got the answer wrong, because I think I blurted out like Friday the 13th, because I'm pretty sure they made that game as well, but was not the right answer. I did not win anything, but still, great time. Computer was having some issues. Yeah, you were having some issues getting connected to the TV as well to make all that display properly. Neo says, sorry to say again, but through your videos and hipsters' advice, it's really helped my channel and started affecting my channel positively. That's awesome, man. I'm super glad to hear that, Neo. That makes sense. Good thing you all had a backup plan. And it was a backup plan that worked super, super well. I had a lot of fun with that one. Hi, I saw you in Greenville, South Carolina yesterday. Well, Chef Lance, I'm so glad you came out for the live stream, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's exactly what I'm talking about today. Had an amazing time talking about some of the other creators who had panels there as well. And even beyond the panels, like, I'm not kidding when I say if you're somebody who is a gaming YouTuber, or especially if you're a retro gaming YouTuber, you need to make sure you make an effort to get to this convention if you can, whenever it rolls around again next year, because like the list of people that were there is just incredible. Like 8-Bit Eric, I actually wrote them all down. I'm trying not to miss anybody. If I do, I'm so sorry for anybody who might be watching this that was there. But I mean, you had Eric, Jay from the 8-Bit Eric, Jay from the Game Chasers, J Love, Linda the Gamer Girl, T-Belly, Nostalgic Numbnuts, Pixel Game Squad, obviously BP Retro Power, Jay, NES Addict, who was in here earlier before he took off to read his kid a bedtime story, Mega Dan, Die Hard Gamer Bros, and Die Hard Gamer Bros and T-Belly drove from New York to get down there. They didn't show up till 5 in the morning on Saturday. That is a tremendous amount of dedication. I'm so glad, because T-Belly's an absolute sweetheart, and I was glad to meet him. Retro Game Junkie, who I felt bad, Phil, I actually had met him last year, but he had a more tremendous beard. And when I met him, like when I first saw him again, it didn't register for me because he was much more clean shaven. So I went to shake his hands and I was like, hey man, nice to meet you. And as soon as I said it, I was like, you've met him before and you're a jerk for doing this. I apologized to him next day. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. He was like, it's cool. I didn't really notice. So I just felt bad. But yeah, Captain Retro, Russ Lyman, obviously, Generation Gap Gaming, Donald Parrish was back, like, just a tremendous amount of people. And then I met some new people as well, who I also listed separately, because I didn't really know them. I may have been slightly aware of them, but not really met them until the convention, and that would have been Nintendo, Lit Gaming, who's here in the chat, I believe, Bobby from Universe Retro, who actually came to the panel, and we talked a little bit afterwards, which I'm so glad he showed up. Like, and that's the thing about my panel, like, the most people that were there were people that I knew, and they were super supportive, and I love all of them for being willing to come out and support me. That was great, because I was super nervous about it. But then there were a few people in the audience who I wasn't really familiar with and didn't really know, and Bobby was one of them. Super nice guy, and I'm glad we got to talk a little bit afterwards. So that was pretty much day one, was basically me just going to panels and then just sort of meeting new people. And I'll catch up with chat and then go to day two. While you're at a convention, I bet it must be a good feeling of meeting someone you know on YouTube to meet in person. Yes, it absolutely is. And it's weird because I had been looking forward to meeting Pixel Game Squad, but I actually ran into Riff a couple months ago, just randomly at E3. I think he spotted me, and then we got to talk for just like a few minutes because Cat was busy. But, we got to, talk a lot more, obviously, at this because you're hanging out for like 2 days, so that was really, really awesome. Welcome back. Looks like you all had a great time. Yes, it's good to be back, Top Spine. It was an amazing time. You'll have to come out sometime, dude. I would love to do a con whenever given a chance. However, I want to take care of the busy stuff first. Yeah, I thought I would do that, but I didn't really do the best job. I got some B-roll, but mostly I was just running around filming filming people's panels and stuff. Brian says, welcome back, YP2. Brian, it's good to be back, man. Linda the Gamer Girl. What, is she in here? Did I miss that? If she is, I'm sorry I missed you, Linda, but I'm glad you're here. Such a cool group of people were there this weekend. Absolutely, man. And I can't wait to go next year. And it's weird because like conventions they get expensive, right? Going to E3 and then going to this, and I was like, and people were asking me to come to too many games. I was like, I just don't think I could do 3 this year, but hopefully next year I can do more. I would love to. Sushi, hello. I too get amnesia when meeting people. Yes, do you guys do that thing too, where it's like you meet someone and you shake their hand, and while you're shaking, you're thinking about what you're gonna say to not sound like an idiot, and while you're overthinking that, they say their name, and then like 2 seconds later, like if someone had a gun to your head, you couldn't tell them what that person's name was. I'm horrible about that. Slappy, does it sound like I missed out? I'll try next year. Slappy, I think you would have a great time. I don't think I saw anybody there who could conclusively say, no, I hated the Southeast Game Exchange. It was garbage. It was an amazing time. Jacob says, Josh, we missed you. I missed you too, Jacob, and it's good to be back. These will be back to 8 a.m. starting tomorrow morning, where I'll be talking about things I learned from doing the panel at Southeast Game Exchange. Those will be the tips for tomorrow morning. Jesse says, I see Russ in the thumbnail. Yes, absolutely. Well, I thought that was like one of the best like still pictures that I got, or one of the best moments in terms of just like something that looked really nice visually, and it sort of illustrated what I was doing most at the convention, which really wasn't like buying games or anything like that. It was just hanging out with YouTube creators and watching panels. That's the bulk of how I spent my time there. We missed the 5 a.m. streams. Well, you only missed 2. There was one missing today and then Friday. We'll be back on tomorrow, so I'll see you at 5 a.m., Cynthia. Hard to believe about 6,700 strangers know you. Yeah, but this is something I said in my panel. My numbers are super inflated, right? I pivoted my channel, so while it might say I have 6,700 subscribers, it's probably closer to 1, maybe 2,000, because that's where I really started to focus my content. Was the past 2 years. It's increased by about that number. So I'm not saying the other 4,000 don't matter at all, or that they aren't valuable in some way. But what I'm saying is like when people are like, ooh, you have 6,000 subscribers, kinda. I don't know if that necessarily accounts for or it's not as grandiose, I think, as you might think. Henry says, Josh, I'm going to cut it short. I've got stuff to do. Good seeing you, man. Good seeing you, too, man. Thanks for swinging by, Henry. Lit says, the game deals were awesome. Picked up an NES with 2 controllers for $55. That is a good deal. I heard somebody had actually a complete in-box Genesis there for $40, which I'm pretty sure that's a pretty insane price. I think they go closer to $100, don't they? I have your sticker on my laptop right now. That's awesome. And that's one of the things, like, I almost didn't bring stickers, and then last second, I was like, I should probably take some of those. So I appreciate you representing YourPlayerTwo. I appreciate that a lot, Chef. So day 2 was the day of the panel where I actually did hand out the stickers, and it was kind of rough because everyone who went on Saturday got to go in a sort of regular conference room that was more sound insulated. Basically the other area that they had for panels was actually out on the floor, and really the only thing dividing it was some curtains, so the audio quality was rough. Like I had people who were having difficulty hearing and everything, but ultimately I almost count that as a blessing, because since I was so nervous to really do it in the first place, having that ambient noise I think may be a little bit more comfortable than if I just had dead silence. That way if I made a joke and it missed the mark, I wouldn't hear that deafening silence and crickets as vividly as I might have in a convention room. So that was kind of nice, in that regard. I'm hoping that I'm able to salvage the audio from what I got from my phone and actually put it out here on the channel. If not, if it's just too rough and it's just grating to listen to, I probably won't put it on the channel. But that also did give me some insights, which I'll talk about more tomorrow, lest I destroy all the content that I would have planned for tomorrow's stream. So Slappy says, wait, I'm trying to back up here. Slappy says, Korg's in Columbus. Yes, the Central Ohio Retro Game Show. I've only been to that one time, and I think it's already passed for this year. I missed it. T-Belly got a Power Glove for yes! T-Belly was so excited to have that Power Glove, too. Quicksand says, do you know of any game conventions? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, what Slappy said. Korg's. Korg's is one that is here in Ohio. It's a much smaller one, but it's, that's the thing. I actually kind of like smaller conventions in a way, because it's easier to hit everything more quickly. It can be a little bit crowded, but ultimately, I think both larger cons and smaller cons have their advantages, and I really like Korg's whenever I was there. Those other 4,000 subscribers subscribe for the Chipotle vlog. There are so many Chipotle vlogs that will never see the light of day on this channel, Sushi. So, what was I going to say? Oh, sorry. Let me back up. For day one, at the end of the evening, we did all go out and just get food and a few drinks, and that was a good time. Just hanging out with a bunch of other YouTubers. Captain Retro in particular had a grand old time playing some life-size Jenga with a bunch of other people there, so that was fun. But yeah, day two basically did the panel, and right after, well, I should point out during my panel, Linda, the game girl, was kind enough to run camera, and also Jeff, Die Hard Gamer Bros, had offered to run camera. I was like, Linda already said she would take care of it, but I super appreciate it. But Linda actually ran camera for me and made sure that I was staying in frame and everything, and the recording didn't tank in the middle of it. Because that's actually the reason I got the camcorder that I have now, was specifically for these long form recording opportunities where I knew that I would need something that was a little more resilient for that format than using a DSLR. So she ran camera for me, and then whenever I was done, her and Captain Retro got up and they did a panel basically talking about game hunting and the art of getting a good deal when you're trying to find good deals on retro games. And that was really quite interesting, listening to some of the tactics and strategies, or the things that they think about when they go to interact with people that might be selling a retro game, or sometimes they're selling something and they don't really know how valuable it is. And one of the things I loved about that, Captain Retro made a very cool point, like, if you go to like a garage sale or something like that and you see a game that's on offer that is criminally underpriced. I'm talking like if you found, I'll use, I guess, Harvest Moon as an example. That's a game that can go for, I believe, $200 or $300. But if you saw that in, a garage sale and someone was like $5, Harvest Moon for Super Nintendo, his basic position was, don't turn down a great deal, but if you're willing to buy it whenever you do it, put some good karma out there, right? If someone's selling it for $5, you're already saving $200 on it. Maybe kick them an extra 20 and say, hey, just, you're selling this incredibly underpriced, and I just, didn't feel good taking the full amount or the full discount, which I think is a really solid recommendation, right? Like, I think that's, I think that was one of my favorite pieces of advice they actually gave. That was tremendous. Russ, what's up, man? Hey, Josh, me and David are still driving home. Pay attention to the road, Russ. But also, yes, I was just talking about you, man. It was fun hanging out with you as well. And then, I don't know if you saw earlier, but on Twitter there was some debate about whether or not I actually saw you eating food, or my personal theory that you only survive on the blood of your enemies. I didn't actually see you eat anything that I can recall, so I feel like it's a possibility. I'll check it out, Slappy. Oh, David is driving. Okay, sorry. Don't text and drive. I'm sorry, it looks like somebody else already got to this. Seeing Josh on my new computer setup is jarring. You are basically an HD, Josh. Is that I feel like that could be a bad thing, because that's the thing about HD. I don't know if you guys ever saw that episode of 30 Rock where Alec Baldwin gets in front of the camera. Like, Liz Lemon gets in front of the camera, in front of the new HD camera, and then she just looks like a complete, like monster version of herself. But then when Alec Baldwin gets in front of the camera, they just have, like, a version of Alec that's, like, 20 years younger, and it makes everything he does look better. So me in HD, that's one of the things I actually do like about doing video games where I'm actually in a smaller frame in the upper left, is, you can't see the details of my face as much, which probably something I'm overthinking, but whatever. Hey, Muzz, what's up, man? Yard/garage sales are my favorite. I know you're a big fan, but I would be curious if you have any tips, because I know you do a lot as well, Muzz, if you want to drop something in the chat or drop some knowledge for people. But I did like Captain Retro's advice of, like, hey, if you're already getting a killer deal, it's not going to break your bank to kick someone an extra $10, $20 if you find something that's, again, criminally underpriced for what they're offering. Chef says, I was the only kid in the audience. Did you have the orange shirt on? Is that, did I speak with you after the panel, Chef? That says, I saw him eat a barbecue sandwich and chips. Okay, as long as you're confirming that, he does, find sustenance in the same way as the rest of us carbon life forms, I guess Russ is okay, and not the alien I thought he might be. That was the first night, right on. I have done videos dedicated to yard sales, and I showed no mercy. None? So you wouldn't do that strategy? You wouldn't kick somebody a little bit extra? 4-Day Entertainment, what's up, man? Yes, Captain Retro did nail it. Also, it was fun checking out your channel 4-Day and seeing that video game store for Myrtle Beach. As soon as I was like, I've been there. That's the Colonial Mall. And and they had that arcade next to it last time I was there, which was I thought a pretty good arcade actually, but it sounds like what you're saying, like they just rolled it right into the store. Tyler's here. What's up? We watched a few of your videos. David was impressed. Wait, you watched a few of... Wait, whose videos? My videos, or you talk about L1 Games' videos? Either way, the kindness is appreciated. Thank you for these amazing live streams, Josh. They've really have helped. Dude, I'm glad to hear it, man. Like, it was an experiment that I wasn't sure how much longevity or what was actually going to happen with it. you know, because it is sort of stressful, right? You have to get up and get going every morning by 8 a.m. to make it work. But ultimately, it also makes me super excited to get up in the morning. So, like, I know I'm knocking out some YouTube channel work before my day job even starts. So, to that end, I never end a regular day job work day where I'm like, oh man, like, you know, I wish I could have been working on the thing I'm super crazy about. Because I already did it. You just have to get up a little bit earlier to do it and, you know, make sure you have enough coffee, I guess. Okay, so they put everything in the middle of the store. I gotcha. Russ, tell David I said thanks. Generation Gap, I didn't even see you drop in, man. I'm sorry. Hello. You said hi like 5 minutes ago. Sorry, that's another thing that's rough about the live format, right? It's kind of difficult to, you know, stay with everybody. No, Generation Gap is here, and I was just talking about you and how I failed miserably when it came to the LJN question. I'll be better for next year, though. Probably. Especially, well, that's something else I should point out. That really, one of the things that really stuck out to me the most about this experience, yes, it was great kind of hanging out with all these other creators and reconnecting with old friends, making new friends and all that good stuff. But one of the things I noticed in the course, I was like, man, like, I've barely done any retro gaming content this year. I think the closest I got to it was I purchased the Castlevania collection on Switch and was like, I'm going to stream this, and then I just kind of never did it. So one of the things that I'm going to do moving forward is I'm going to try to do Throwback Thursday content on Thursday. That's going to be retro home for me. One, because I know there are people in the community who appreciate retro content, but mostly, I just really, really miss it. Like, I have not played a Super Nintendo game or a Genesis game, like, in a minute, so I'm really excited to actually dive back into some retro stuff, and I think that, aside from just, like, the creator recharge I got from hanging around so many great creators at the Southeast Game Exchange, it also sort of recharged me or reawakened, like, hey, man, you haven't really done anything retro since 2018. Like, I know that I was going to try to focus more on video game creators and strategy and tips and offering that kind of content, which is sort of what I'm doing with these live streams, generally speaking, but I was like, you know, like, one of the things you love the most, you're doing absolutely none of, and I think it's probably because I was overthinking it, right? And it's actually the conundrum that I think I'm still in. And that conundrum is, I know that focusing your content or niching down or having a very specific focus allows you to make a greater impact, and you can generally expand later on if you want to do more variety style content. But for me, you know, I'm wondering if I'm going to just shoot myself in the foot from a content strategy perspective, because yes, I like making helpful content here, but then I'm like, is it okay for me to do straight up video game content here? And by straight up video game content, what I mean are things like, I probably won't do reviews, but video game reviews or unboxings or, you know, top fives or the things that excite me and the things that I'm really crazy about, or would I have to put those on another channel, which I don't really want to do because I don't really want to maintain two channels. That's a lot of extra work I don't know if I want to put in. And I feel like at that point I might start to resent gaming if I'm like, oh, I did the tips thing, but now I gotta go make video game content for this other channel. So I think that they can coexist peacefully. I think I just need to be careful about the ratios, right? Like, if I only did video game content for 3 weeks and you get no tips, then YourPlayerTwo as a concept doesn't work, because that means that I'm not delivering on the promise that I made with this channel, was that I wanted to support and encourage and inspire and provide information to as many video game content creators as possible. But, you know, if it swings too far the other way, if all I ever do is tips and strategy, I'm wondering if that may not just really rank as well in search or raise awareness for my channel, because at that point, you know, I don't know if there are as many people searching for that, or if, you know, the answer's somewhere in between. It's a real tricky problem that I'm working through right now. But I figure by loading up on morning tips content 5 days a week, that would probably help. So if I did want to do video game content, it probably wouldn't tank the channel one way or the other in a negative way, I guess. Hey G3, let's see, you guys made it home yet, Russ? Fun seeing you here. We are currently in New Jersey, so how much further do you have to go, Russ? Now, I was the one in the orange shirt. Okay, I thought I remembered. You know, I'm down for... Yes, I know that pretty much anybody we were hanging out with this weekend would have no problem with retro. It's just, you know, again, like that content strategy, and to some degree, it's definitely me overthinking it, but on the other hand, I think that, you know, it's a good thing to think strategically about your channel, depending on what your goals are, right? If you're on a mission for growth to do it full time, like that's the journey that I'm on, I feel like I have to think strategically. If you're doing it just as a way to connect with friends, I mean, it may organically build into something full time for you, but, you know, you're not going to put as much pressure on yourself for that kind of content as someone who's like, you know, what is a smart way that you can grow the channel in a way that's like organic, not sleazy, not unethical, but still get you closer to the results that you want. And that's the kind of thing that I'm chasing constantly with this channel. Who thinks Minecraft will be good on my channel? I think if you're crazy about Minecraft and you know, it's not going to drain you or, you know, make you resent that game to do it, Chef, I think it would be great on your channel if you're crazy about it. You know, because again, that's one of the points that I made in the panel, actually, is like, whatever content strategy you're thinking about, whatever you're thinking about making, don't be in love with the results. Don't be like, oh man, like it wasn't a good day or it wasn't a good month for the channel because I only got 10 new subscribers and not 1,000. If you're only in love with the results but you're not in love with the process, it would be very, very difficult to sort of stay at it. Minecraft is having a resurgence lately. That's a good point too. Like, I mean, right now you could sort of catch a wave in a way, Chef. And I can tell you one of the things that I did, or one of the ways that I did that, hilariously by accident actually, was when the PlayStation Classic came out. Like, originally I didn't really jump on that train at first. A lot of other people did, like teardowns and reviews or ways that you could hack that system. And then a few months later, when I took a price drop to a place where I was like, okay, $40, I think I can deal with the system now. I bought it and then made that video where it was like, hey, very in-your-face thumbnail, like play games from USB, and then title, which was sort of magnetic, was why it's totally worth it now. And that video got, I think, close to or over 400,000 views at this point. I'm not sure, but it was a video I shouldn't have made. But still, it was a good example of what catching a wave is like, right? If there's a huge amount of traffic, if there's a huge amount of like attention and interest that's being channeled into one particular area, like perhaps Minecraft right now, thanks to PewDiePie, if you make content that sort of piggybacks off of that, you can definitely catch a new wave of interest. But don't make the mistake that I did. Like, if you do that and you're like, yeah, I love Minecraft, and you get a bunch of subscribers off it, keep making Minecraft content. Make sure it's something that you don't mind to continue making content from, because a lot of the people that subscribe to my channel off of that PlayStation video were probably like, ooh, this guy's going to do a whole lot more, hardware-based stuff, or, kind of modern retro systems, and I didn't really make that content. I could have, but, because I was like, my focus is more within the realm of helping other creators, or do my best to at least impart the things that I've learned. A lot of people are probably like, I didn't sign up for this. Although I haven't seen a mass exodus of people unsubscribing, I have to imagine that, that was a very valuable lesson for me. So I don't regret it entirely because I learned something from it. But still, it does raise larger questions of content strategy and why you need to think strategically, I think, about the content you're willing to put out on your channel. Would love to see you play Mario Maker 2. I have levels for you. I actually do stream... Captain, on Wednesdays I do multiplayer streams, and that pops up in the voting on the community tab now and again. So I would absolutely be willing to play some levels. I'm not the best Mario player, but I try real hard, and I think that's important. Kids love Minecraft, so I'd go for it if I was into that game. That's true. Kids do love Minecraft. I mean, and Fortnite, as I understand it. All the youths, they love that Fortnite. I love the PlayStation Classic. Yeah, the PlayStation Classic's way easier to love when you load it up with a bunch of your own games. Absolutely. Russ says, get to the pickups. Nope, I'm saving the pickups because I want to devote a larger chunk of time to the pickups. Because I think what's going to happen is I will probably combine my July pickups, which I haven't done yet, with the Southeast Game Exchange pickups because, yeah, I think I can make that its own video. I didn't want to go fully in it. But I will show you. Again, two cool things that I did get was thanks to Pixel Game Squad. I got the Hyperkin HDTV cable for GameCube N64 SNES, which I did not previously have, and in turn did not have a way to play my N64 games on my modern televisions. And then also this incredible Pro Controller stand, again, from BP Retro Power, who was also just a real sweetheart. And I love the sort of gradient filament it looks like he used here. Just, it fits perfectly, and it's just rock solid. Love it. I got my Classic for $20. I'm gonna mod it soon. Yeah, it's a pretty easy system to mod, man. Like, you should have no trouble with that. Quicksand says, gotta go, time to put my son to bed. See you later. Quicksand, thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Hope my last comment further up wasn't too weird. But you've been... Wait, did I miss a comment you said, man? Hold on. It's weird because I got stressed over this weekend and I just stopped and thought, what would Josh and Hipster do? Sorry if that's weird. No, man, that's not weird. That's totally fine. And, if you ever have questions, man, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I'm happy to talk to you. Or if anybody here wants to hop in the... Oh, wait, hold on a second. Hello, Kazoo. How are you doing this evening? Appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, Nia, that's not weird, man. If you ever want to talk, man, feel free to hit me up on Twitter, or I think my email address is in the About section as well. It's just get@YourPlayerTwo.com. So... Retro Game Junkie. Hello. I'm so sorry, again, that I was like, hey, it's nice to be like, that bugged me so much. You can't even, I was talking about it earlier, man. I'm so sorry. Just don't change your beard next year, man, Don't put me in that position. It makes me feel stupid. Hold on. Thought I missed something. Yep, I remember you, Chef. Neo says, think this weekend you would have been too busy. I mean, like, I still try to respond to Twitter and DMs and stuff on, you know, even if I'm at conventions. Like, I don't get all of them, but I do my best. Living Constellation says, wish I could have gone there. Wanted to check out what Limited Run had there. Limited Run had an incredible sprint there. There were just tons and tons of games, and I felt so bad because I can't remember his name, and that makes me feel terrible. But one of the dudes who was there and got into the show early, like a lot of the people who were there as guests, Limited Run had a copy of Curse of the Moon, the collector's edition. I knew Rax wanted it, and I saw it, and I was actually on my way to the panel room because I was doing setup there or something, and then I came back, and it was already gone, and that dude had bought it, and it was the only one they had with them. But they had collector's editions for Dust. They had a ton of their Switch releases that were there, including games like Bomb Chicken. They had West of Loathing. They had I can't remember that. It's like House of the Fata Morgana for Vita and PS4. I think a visual novel that apparently is really, really held in a high regard. But it was like $50. I was like, I don't know if I want to get this or not, because I have visual novels I haven't finished yet. So I'm like, do I really want to get this, even though I still haven't finished like Deathmark yet? Retro, what's up, man? I was just talking about you and what I thought was the best piece of advice that you gave in the course of your panel with Linda. Specifically, that if you see a game that is criminally underpriced and you have the ability to completely take advantage of it, to maybe kick somebody, you know, a little bit extra. I thought that was a really, really nice thing to point out. I know, I'm so sorry, Phil. It's the worst. I need to order a shirt from you and mail you my suit. Yes! I do want your sticker. So the first thing, well, hold on, I'm going to grab my computer real fast. If it's nearby. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind, it's downstairs. But I did. Linda, the gamer girl, put her sticker onto my laptop. And that's the first time. I'd always been like, I'm going to put stickers on my laptop someday. I want to be cool like Russ Lyman. So I decided this was the time I was going to do it, mainly because I really had no visual aids. I was like, I should probably put my own sticker on there. But Linda did place the first sticker on my machine. So now if anyone has a sticker, I would be happy to slam it on there. I will do the same thing with discard stickers as soon as I figure out where I put it. But yeah, I think I have links to shirts. Hold on. I'll see if I can drop that in the chat. It wasn't working the other day, so it may not. But yes, if anyone's interested in a shirt, I do have some. I just haven't done a good job of really advertising them. Although the video we made about it was really, really fun whenever we did that. Is it next year yet? I know, right? Like, I'm like, the second I got on the plane, like, I was already kind of sad, like touching down in Columbus and back. I was like, I had a tremendous time the past couple of days. And, you know, in retrospect, I almost wish I would have taken... Retrospect. That's funny. I almost wish that I had... taken tomorrow off too and stayed an extra day to hang out with J-Love and Linda more. I think that would have been a lot of fun. Maybe next year I'll do that. I also I did order one of your shirts, Ross. I didn't wear it this weekend. That's cool. I pulled it through and bulk recorded so much. Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, bulk recording is a great way to make sure that you get content scheduled out. My problem was I was concentrating so much on overproducing and quality that became stressful, and I was like a hamster just constantly trying to maintain the system of production instead of just doing something that I loved. I was getting way too stressed about maintaining a system, which is hilariously ironic considering you put systems in place to reduce stress and save time, and I was putting all of my time and energy into maintaining a system, so I became a slave to the machine, as it were. Something to be aware of. Morrow, hello. Daniel, thanks for stopping by, man. Definitely going again next year. Might make it to press status by then. What do you mean you might make it to press status? Because I can tell you now, if you think that you need to reach a certain press status to, like, you know, give a talk there or something, I don't really think that Austin, the guy who owns and runs it, Gaming Ain't Easy is his channel name if you want to look him up on here. I think if you singularly have like a cool idea for a panel, and if you can demonstrate through the content that you already have that you're committed to it, you know, and you make something singularly sort of cool, I don't know why he wouldn't be open to the idea of giving you a panel there for 4-day entertainment. If it speaks to the audience of people that are going to be at a retro game show like that, if you've got something great to offer, I mean, it absolutely can't hurt to ask. Austin's a really chill, down-to-earth dude. Don't know why, but the lady gave me a vendor pass. Well, hey, I mean, I guess you could have just started randomly selling things then, I guess. Can't stay long because I have a softball game soon. No worries, man. I appreciate you dropping in for a minute, Daniel. And don't forget, Man of Medan. I keep wanting to say Man from, but I think it's Man of Medan. I still want to play it, but only with you. It's the only way I'm going to stream that this October. We must do co-op horror experiences together. Kazoo says you didn't get one of my shirts, but it's fine. That didn't sound really at all passive-aggressive. I think that's the best takeaway from that statement. But you know what? I'll look into it, Yellow Kazoo. DM me where I can get your shirts. Is that an AirPod in your logo? No, it is not an AirPod. That is actually, if you watch the shirts video, hold on. Jason actually taught, Jason's my little backstory. Jason, I almost said was my best friend, is my best friend. But the thing is, he got married, he was my roommate, and then he moved out. He left me like a jerk. No, I'm kidding, I love him. But he is classically trained in graphic design. And he is wholly responsible for the YourPlayerTwo branding, all of the visual things that you see from, like, you know, my stream backgrounds, you know, most of my thumbnails and stuff like that. That was all Jason's work, and I'll see if I can find the video from that so you can see it. But he talks about the design philosophy behind the original logo. But essentially, if you look at it, those two symbols that are inside the main circle for the P for player 2 is actually the same ratio and shape as what you would see on the face of an SNES controller. So there's kind of a you know, nod in there to retro systems, specifically the SNES, and that was kind of the design philosophy behind that. See if I can find it here. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. But yeah, if you want to see why the design is the way it is, Jason explains it at fairly decent length. How was the sound quality on our panel? It sounded horrible in there. Honestly, I haven't had so right now, I'm copying all of the files over. Like, they're literally, as we speak, transferring from the memory card to an external drive so I can review everything. I'm guessing it's going to be pretty rough. I'm going to do what I can to see if I can clean it up and salvage it a little bit, but we'll see. Because the same thing with mine, really. The only thing that I had was, since I had that secondary, since I had my phone recording, it was a little bit closer to my, you know, to my face and to the audience. You know, that one may work. I'm gonna see, but I'll let you know as soon as I find out. I'm gonna Dropbox that footage to you, Linda, because even if the audio quality is abysmal and you can't use it, maybe you could at least use it as cutaway footage when you talk about, you know, in another video on your channel about the experience of doing a panel there with Linda. At least you'll have something visual to cut away to. Retro says, I got a media pass. Chips, what's up, man? Didn't see you drop in. Hey, Maro. Yay, live. Yes, Mark. How are you tonight? I appreciate you coming by. No, Jason. Oh, that's awesome. P2. Oh, SNES. Gotta go. Bye. Chef, thanks for hanging out, man. It was good meeting you this weekend. You know, if you do end up doing Minecraft on your channel, I'll see if I can swing in and check it out, because I am a fan of Minecraft. Did I get any rare games from over there? Yes and no, is what I will say. But I will be doing a pickups video separately to talk about the pickups from Southeast Game Exchange. This is just a video for me to be a cheerleader for all of the amazing creators and people that I got to hang out with there. Plus, I was like, I don't have a ton of ideas for this week yet. I need to stretch this out. I'll talk about pickups separately, so that's why that's happening. Russ says I talked him out of a little Samson. We got barbecue instead. Yeah, I was like, little Samson barbecue. And ultimately, we went with barbecue. Past the second row, you couldn't hear anything. Yeah, it was unfortunate, but ultimately, you know, there's not like, I don't think Austin had a lot of control over that. I think if he'd had his druthers, he absolutely would have put us all in, you know, on that second day. I think our panels also would have been, you know, in one of those proper conference rooms or whatever. But, you know, maybe next year, you know, we can get them locked down. This year, like, yeah, there was a church group that basically needed those for, I think it was just for like a Sunday service, because apparently that's where they hold it, and there was no way we could get rooms on that day. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is, right? You work with what you've got, and it, you know, wasn't the end of the world or anything like that. And clearly some of the people here who saw the panel cared enough, you know, like yourself, like Chef Lance, to, you know, come check out the channel and hang out some more on a live stream. So in a way, I sort of get to make up for the, you know, the shortcomings that I had with the audio problem there right now. So I'm counting that as a win. What did you get, Josh? You're gonna have to wait, Morrow. You can get up at 5 a.m. Well, no, actually, I'll probably do that as an evening stream, probably around this same time tomorrow or Wednesday, to talk about the pickups from there. Lit says, that dude had Little Samson CIB for $2,200. Yeah, that's one thing that I thought was insane about the Southeast Game Exchange is, well, no, that would reveal a pickup. Never mind, I'll tell that story later. Maybe the worst PA system I've ever seen. Had I known, I would have brought my rig. Yeah, and I mean, having two, I think, helped a little bit, but I mean, I'm no audio engineer, so I couldn't really speak to the quality of it, but Jane Eric's panel got kind of ruined by the giveaway announcements. Yeah, the giveaway announcements were a problem too. I mean, it was, you know, I think that it's something that, you know, like I'd mentioned it to Austin before I left yesterday, and I think he knows, right? He knows it wasn't ideal, and I'm sure he's gonna do everything in his power to make it better for next year. But, you know, again, I'm not holding it against the Southeast Game Exchange, because for me, the bigger win was probably that extra ambient noise, at least for me personally. I can't speak for the other presenters, but little comforting for me, because I was already super nervous about it, so that took the edge off a bit. That and the outrageous amounts of alcohol I consumed just prior to going on. I'm kidding. I did not drink at all that morning. Jay and Eric's panel got kind of ruined by the giveaway announcement. It's 5 a.m. Don't do that. All right, I won't do it at 5 a.m. All right, I promise. The space wasn't the issue. The PA was. I'm a sound engineer and musician. I could have saved everyone's panel had I brought my gear. Next year, I will offer it. Awesome. Yeah, because, I mean, it would probably be good to at least have it on standby in case something weird happens where we can't use one of the rooms. Like, if I'd been in one of the rooms, it would have been so much easier to hear, I think. But, I mean, yeah, it's... What are you going to do? It is what it is. Josh, I heard you picked up a sports game. Is there any merit to that statement? Okay, I will reveal one pickup, but only because it's not for me. 1 second. Because Jake and Bacon is an incredible human being, and I love him so much, I did grab him Golf Story for the Nintendo Switch. He'd wanted it. He tried vehemently to steal mine the last time he came to visit, and I wasn't having it. So now you have your own Golf Story, Jaken. I'm going to keep it right here, safe for you, as soon as you return the arcade machine that you stole from me. I think that's a fair trade. Why are you making that face, Jaken? Good friend. I try to be. I try to be. So, I got you the regular Golf Story, and then I got myself the collector's edition of Golf Story, mainly because I wanted to make sure that I had the better version. I would give it to you, but I just don't like you that much. I'm kidding. You know I love you. So yeah, that was pretty much the bulk of the experience. In between running around the convention floor, basically spent most of the time hanging out with Linda the gamer girl, who's an absolute sweetheart. Same for J-Love, obviously, who, and that's the thing, I was a little bit nervous reconnecting with J-Love because I hadn't been hanging out on people's channels as much this year as I did last year, mainly because I did get stuck in that production cycle where I was constantly maintaining it, so I had less time to go to other people's channels and comment. So part of me was just kind of like, man, I was like, is everyone going to be like, like this dude doesn't even care about our content or anything anymore? Not that way at all. Jen is completely the warm, loving, encouraging person that you would absolutely expect, and it was like we just fell back into our old rhythm immediately, and there was nothing weird about it, so I was probably just panicky for no reason at all. That's three picks. We're almost there. Josh also picked me up, and we spun. It was beautiful. I hesitate to say elegant, but indeed it was. Russ is just such a graceful creature naturally. You got the collector's edition? What? I'm done. I'm sorry. It had to be done. It had a trophy in it. How could I say no to that? So, but yeah, other than that, we went out, we tried a few different restaurants. We did go to a place called, I think it was Smoke on the Water, and it was okay. Actually, that's, I did get to meet Gary, Rock Solid Productions. He had basically death in the family, which is extremely tragic, but despite that, he still made an effort to come hang out with some of us on the last day, and I did get to eat with him. I basically Ubered from the restaurant to go to the airport and head back, but I did get to hang out with him for a little bit. First time meeting him, super nice guy, really down to earth, very chill. But I will say the food at the restaurant we went to was not the best. They had brisket, but I'd never seen somebody serve brisket without the option or inherently bringing it with barbecue sauce, and it was not the greatest. The sides were great. I like the macaroni and cheese and everything. I'm not gonna write the whole restaurant off, but that's not how I do brisket. Not that I could, I'm no chef, but did you make some plans to collaborate with people from the convention? I did, in fact. I made plans with a few different people. I'm trying to think who all I spoke with. Linda. I'm sure Russ and I will collaborate again at some point, mainly because I'm putting him on the spot right now, and if he doesn't say yes, then people are going to be like, oh, they can dance together, but they can't collaborate together, and that's going to be on you, Russ. So, but yeah, I definitely tried to talk to as many people as I could there. I didn't, but that's the thing, I was also a little bit shy and standoffish with creators who I didn't know as well, mainly because, and actually I did have a conversation with another creator there about this, who offered some really reassuring advice, I thought, but it was, when it comes to people who are playing at a level that's higher than your channel, or seem to be playing at a higher level than your channel, people that are, have way more subscribers, or they have a larger following, for me, it's a struggle to approach them, always has been, and it's not because I don't necessarily think, and to be fair, none of the creators who are playing at that level have ever been anything but nice, down-to-earth, accommodating. I'm sure eventually I'll meet some that are not those things, but ultimately one of the things that I worry about is that, if you try to approach a larger creator, inherently when it comes to collaboration, I've always been a big believer and big proponent of, if you're going to collaborate with somebody else, you should both be bringing something to the table, and sorry about that, guys. You should both be bringing something to the table that is a benefit to, both parties, to both audiences, right? And one of the things that I think is a concern for me, or one of the things I'm either overthinking or it is a legitimate concern because I feel like I've seen this happen, is that some people will want to collaborate with a much larger creator without leading with the value proposition or without getting to know that person at all. And I didn't really want to look like I was just trying to glob onto somebody else's success or try to put forth the idea of collaborating without getting to know somebody, I guess. Because I feel like there are some people out there who will just drop in and they'll be like, hey, what's up? Hey, I got this great idea for you. And I just didn't want to be perceived as that guy. And in some way, that's probably limited me from some opportunities because I haven't really figured out how to get over that in my head. But I think as time goes on, as I get to know more creators organically, I think that'll be more of a possibility. But yeah, it's always something that I've been kind of weird about because, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Hey, Big Glitch, what's up, man? I was planning on going to the Southeast Game Exchange, but it just wasn't in the budget. Hey, there's always next year, man. If you come, I promise you will have an amazing time. I got a message from Twitter about a collab today. What, just directly from the people at Twitter? I know it has a trophy. It's the Wellworn Grove Cup, and you don't even know what that is. I don't know what it is. I just thought it looked pretty on a shelf. So, Chip says, "Uh-oh, don't get Jakey Bakey started." No, he's getting started for sure. Sam, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? More pickups equal collab with Russ. Ooh. You're really putting me in a bind here, Russ. I feel like that's a really, really foul way to go about this. Okay. One more pickup. Can I do that? One more pickup, and you and I collab. But how should we collaborate? Or should we ask the chat if you and I were to collaborate what they would like to see? If Russ and I work together, what would you like to see? We can't really do anything really in person because he lives so far away from me, but I'm sure we could work something out. Gotta run, closing up shop. Catch you later. Muzz, thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate you. I will, I'm sure I get even more advice from you about yard sales. I'm sure you'll still find stuff, before the season ends. Unless it's already ended. Maybe it has. No, people still do yard sales in September, don't they? Austin, I was just talking about you a little bit ago. What's up, Josh? Loved having you, buddy. Thank you so much for having me. And again, I was joking with you. Well, for people in the chat, I was joking with Austin. That I was like, now that I've done this, I can absolutely put in my Twitter bio or whatever, be like, YourPlayerTwo, public speaker. But then in parentheses, probably put like that one time at Southeast Game Exchange, it was really awesome. Just kind of poke fun at myself there. But now I'm technically a public speaker. Feels pretty good. I'm right now steaming. LO, just kidding. Rush should hit you with his Mario Kart car? How dark and violent is that? See you soon? Absolutely, Muzz. Just kidding, I'm done now. But yeah, and Austin, I think someone else earlier in the chat, I think it was 4-Day Entertainment, had mentioned that he would like to do a panel sometime at an event like this. I told him, and I spoke for you, which maybe I shouldn't have done. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything, but if you have a good idea or something that clearly serves your audience, I'm sure you would be. I'm not going to say you're going to be open to just letting anybody have a panel, but I'm sure you would be open to having a conversation about it if someone has a cool idea that you think would think fits the show. But yes, I'll show one more pickup only because it's not mine. Because personal pickups, I didn't even get that many at the show. I got 3 or 4 games, I think, for myself, and that was it. But for me, one of the biggest finds, or the biggest thing that I did get, was this. And this is a glorious PlayStation Vita, as you can see. And there's the camera wholly reflected in it. But yeah, I've never, and this is honestly the first time I've actually held the LCD version. This is the Vita Lite, right? This is not the original OLED model, which I'm sure I'm going to prefer the OLED. Although I will have to say, for everyone saying the blacks or the blacks aren't as deep in this, or the colors aren't as rich in the LCD display, when I checked it out, it looks pretty good to me. I wasn't immediately ew, this is so awful compared to the OLED. It looks pretty good. But this Vita does not belong to me. This is Avedon Smith's Vita. And a little bit of backstory on that, for a long time, and Chips can speak to this, Jaken can speak to this, anybody who knows Avedon Smith can speak to this, he trashes the Vita at every chance he gets. So I told him, probably 6 months or a year ago, I was like, for your birthday or Christmas, I'm going to get you a Vita, but I could never really find a decent price on it. If you go to GameStop, they're $150, and I was like, okay, I like, I love Avedon, but not that much. I'm kidding. But nonetheless, this one I got for $90, which is pretty good. Even if you go look at eBay prices for Vitas, they tend to go at least $120, $130 in a lot of cases. So the fact that I found one I was like, you know what, I've put it off long enough, and this is a good deal. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it for Abaddon, see if I can get him into the world of the PlayStation Vita. But ultimately, what was weird though is there was another vendor there who had the same Vita unboxed, right, the exact same model and everything. And after I talked to the guy who was selling it for $90, I went over to another booth, and I was like, "How much for the Vita?" And he was like, $200. And I was like, and I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." Like, very nice. But in the back of my head, I was like, "You are out of your head if you think I'm paying $200 for an open box Vita with no charging cable. That seems completely insane to me." Always looking for good ideas, right? And that's basically what I was saying earlier. Is just that, you know, you were pretty down to earth, very approachable, and, you know, if somebody has an awesome idea, they should absolutely reach out to you. Speaking of which, I did reach out to you on LinkedIn earlier. I don't know if you saw that, but I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm working on things. So just a heads up, Austin. He trashes it constantly. He hates the Vita. So now, because, you know, I wanted to give him the worst birthday present, belated birthday present imaginable, I got him a Vita. And I'm going to have to send him a couple of games too, I guess. Welcome back, Jay. Vita, I'm just getting back into the PSP. See, that's the thing. I got a PSP Go last year. I made a video about that. That's an amazing little retro system. Like, if you hack a PSP Go, that thing is solid. It's a little bit less comfortable, but I think what you lose in comfort, you make up for with portability. That was one of my favorite purchases in terms of, you know, a system that I put off forever. Hello, Adrian. It is awesome. I can't wait to see what he does. Donald, welcome, man. Yeah, like $200 for a Vita, I was like, come on. Like, if I can go to GameStop and get one with a charging cable for $150, why would I pay $200 for yours without a charging cable? That seemed a little steep. So you stole Abaddon's Vita? Well, no, I got it for him. Well, no, because I have the white Vita. I have the white OLED model. And that's why I asked him, I was like, do you want the white one or the black one? Because, you know, I was like, for me, I think this one, it feels really, really good. And if he was like, I want the white one, I would have been totally fine with this one. It feels great. But, you know, all black everything. That's what he said he wanted. So he's going to get the black Vita. Let's see. Russ, big glitch. That's awesome. Replay. It is awesome. So yeah, now Russ has to collaborate with me because I technically did show another pickup. So I just have to figure out what we're gonna do exactly. If that's gonna be on your channel or mine, or maybe both. Maybe we can do a nice combo thing. Maybe we come up with a cool community challenge that we can both get in on. That would be fun. See if we can get some other creators involved. I don't think I've done a collaboration like that yet. One where I think the closest I got was I did a response video to Muzz earlier this year where I was like 10 unpopular gaming opinions, and then I talked about 10 of my most unpopular gaming opinions, including one of them that was actually aimed squarely at the Vita. But, you know, I think I asked other people if they wanted to join in, but maybe we could come up with some very cool bombastic idea. I'm interested to explore that, Russ, if you're down. Jay, tell your cat Hurley I miss kissing him and I'll see him soon. Also, thanks for letting us crash at your place. Park says, blank is the if you want to play incognito in public. I could see that. Donald says, the only thing that drives me mad with the OLED is the Mura? I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure I'm following you there. I don't think I know what that is. Lit says, I saw some ridiculous pricing at the con, just because they vacuum sealed the bag or put it in a little plastic sleeve, not even CIB, still loose. Yeah, that's, I mean, if it's like something that's graded, sure, but if you're just vacuum sealing something, that doesn't inherently make it more valuable. That's just adding extra steps to the pre-owned experience. BP Retro Power, what's up? I was just talking about you earlier. Thank you again for these. I've been testing it, and it's absolutely tremendous. And, like, I constantly sit here at the desk, like, after I get done streaming or whatever, and I just toss my controller over to the side, and then it starts taking up space, and then I get up and I move it. But this thing is just absolutely solid, man. I absolutely adore it. And is there... Hold on a second. You do have a store where you sell these, right? Brandon? Because if you want to go ahead and drop a link, I'm going to make you a mod real quick so you can do that. Or if you guys want to learn a criminal amount about what it takes to maintain or repair retro games, I feel like I learned more about the process in that 45-minute panel than I have in my entire life prior, aside from maybe something basic like blowing in your cartridge actually wasn't good for it. But then I got to see again up close why it wasn't good. And BP Retro Power, the fine gentleman now in the chat, is the one who's responsible for that. Oh, well, enjoy your wrench powers anyways. I assume you won't abuse them and start banning every random person in the chat. But if you do, I mean, I kind of did that to myself. So, I told him, Russ, he said meow. The blank speckling that happens with early OLED screens. Oh, okay. No, I've never even heard of that. The only portable problem that I think I was most familiar with when it came to portable Sony products was that there were dead pixels on some of the early PSP units. And I think I even had one that had a few dead pixels, but to me it wasn't a big deal because I only ever noticed it if the screen was like, if it was just a black screen, for example. Usually there's just so much going on the screen at once that it was negligible. Like at one point, I think I opened it up and actually in the store and I was looking at it, and someone was like, "Ooh, if you have dead pixels, do you want to like either exchange it or do something else?" And I was like, "It doesn't matter." Oak City Gamers, Joel, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? They were selling games for $40 that I got for $5. Nice. You streaming tomorrow morning? Yes, Sam, I will be streaming tomorrow, 8 a.m., and specifically what I'll be talking about are tips that I gleaned from actually giving the panel at the Southeast Game Exchange, which were things that I hadn't considered, or, just, I guess, observations I had about that experience, because I was kind of nervous about it, and it's sort of meta in a weird way, considering the panel itself was about tips for new or aspiring, YouTube gaming creators, and now I basically have tips, basically things that I've learned going through that experience, so that's what I'll be talking about tomorrow, is basically how that experience was, things that I learned from it, or things that I think will be helpful for anybody who's thinking about doing a panel themselves or wants to get into that. Feels just taking shots at my controller holder. I have 9,427 mods. Wait, what's happening? G still driving. Sorry, Russ. Nintendo, what's up, man? Did you see that Abaddon has a Vita now? I found it for him at the Southeast Game Exchange, Nick. So now he won't be able to talk about how trash the system is anymore, because he's going to get it, and he's going to fall in love with it as soon as he plays Persona 4 Golden. Of that much I am certain. And if not, then I guess he and I just can't be friends anymore. And that will be how Abaddon and Joshua ended. Did I eat any good food? Yes, I did have some good food there. We went to, I can't remember the name of it was Iron, what was it, Iron and Wine or something? What was that place we went to, Russ? Do you remember the name of it? But it's not that their burgers were exceptional, but what was exceptional was the fact that they had Philly cheesesteak egg rolls, and they were super tasty. Like, I'd never really seen that done before, and it was excellent. My wife wanted to leave early Sunday, wanted to stay longer, though, left around noon. We will not have a panel room in the main vendor room again. Yeah, and that's something that was brought up a little bit earlier, Austin, but, again, I know that really wasn't your fault, and you do everything you could to make sure it's mitigated or whatever, but things happen, no harm, no foul. And again, I appreciate actually that there was ambient audio because it made me feel less awkward. So speaking personally, not the worst thing in the world. And some of the people who have been in the chat right now, Austin, are people who came up and talked to me after I got done doing the panel. So for me, huge win, man. And again, I appreciate the opportunity, and I would love to do it again next year or any other year that you will have me. And I will probably be way less awkward. Iron Grill, thank you. Yes. Ironside Brewery? Okay. Yeah, Local Q was the bar that we had gone to on Saturday night. Iron Hill Brew. Iron Hill was trash. Wow, Lit. We didn't try the egg rolls, man, okay? They were good. Copper River Grill was phenomenal, however. Donald says they were awesome. They were very, very awesome. Mark from Soft Game. Hey, what's up, man? The PlayStation Vita is an awesome system. It's a pity that Sony axed it so soon in the West. Still going hot in Japan. The latest firmware update also killed the custom firmware. I don't actually have mine hacked, so I couldn't really speak to it. But what I can say is that I think that prices for Vita games will shoot up tremendously sometime in the next 5 to 10 years, and they're going to start becoming more and more rare. But, I was happy to see so many Vita games at least a few were for sale at the Limited Run booth. And again, Limited Run just killed it, right? Like, for Limited Run, it seemed anything but limited. There were so many copies of so many great games there, and there were definitely a few gaps in my collection that I wanted to fill, but I was like, man, I can only buy so many games. There were some retro games I wanted to pick up too, but still, tremendous. That was the first time I got to see a Limited Run booth in person. Like, at E3, they were there, but I think they were just in meetings all day. They didn't, have a booth set up where they were selling. But having now seen what the spread's like when they show up at a place like this, I totally am going to hit that booth every time I see them at a convention for sure. Football game this Friday against Triant. I don't sport, Sam. I'm sorry, but it does sound exciting. I thought Iron Hill was dope. I mean, I didn't hate it. For me, it was 50-50. The burger was fine. It wasn't exceptional. I think me and Jayla were actually talking about that whenever we went to leave on Sunday. And she was like, that place wasn't exceptional. I was like, yeah, it was adequate, I think. Except for those egg rolls. Those egg rolls were tasty good. Chad says, hi, I love you and miss you. Chad, I love and miss you too. How are you doing this evening? EB Glitch says, yeah, too many games. I bought 2 limited run titles. Could have bought so much more. Hopefully they will be at Retro World or Retro Game Con. I'm not sure where those are happening, but if they are within striking distance, I might consider it. Oh no. Hold on a second. I'm getting some alerts over here that I thought I'd muted, but apparently I did not. 40 says, I'm out, everyone. Great show overall. Next year can't come soon enough. I completely agree. And again, gaming ain't easy. Right here on the chat, man. If you come up with an idea for a panel and you want to talk to him about it, that's the guy you should talk to. He is also on Twitter as Gaming Ain't Easy. He also loves the Nintendo Switch so much, you should absolutely lead with your love for it in any discussions with him to garner favor. He loves that kind of thing. My wife's food was undercooked, the burger wasn't really that special, the beer was sour, and the drink my wife got wasn't great. Plus, the waitress was very sour. My waitress was not super sour, the beer a little bit, but then again, I ordered a strawberry beer, so I kind of assumed it was going to be a little bit of a weird one. Connecticut and Syracuse, probably not within driving distance for me, but if I did have the ability to fly to it and check it out, just maybe, we'll see. I would love to come to some gaming conventions in the U.S., however, I don't have the time to come over as I have a very busy job. I gotcha. Well, maybe someday you can make it, man. But, you know, you probably get to see awesome stuff overseas then that we don't get access to. Like, oh my god. Donald had a copy of, what was it, the Louvre Experience from France? Like that 3DS experience game that they sell. I guess it would be in the gift shop or something over there. I'm doing okay, my dude. Next year we should go together to the Southeast Game Exchange. You would be on my way there, road trip. Possibly, I may fly, though. I tend to favor flying to road trips wherever I can. However, if you are on the way, I think I'm going to be road tripping with at least Studio Nintendo and Jaken to 2 mini-games, I think. But, you know, I mean, we've got time. I have no idea what's going to happen between now and then. But, yeah, long story short, I would love to hang out with you again. So if it does work out, I would absolutely be willing to take a road trip with you, provided I'm not more, you know, lined up for flying or, you know, that's not what I have to do to maximize my PTO, because I have to think about that, too. All right, gotta go. Gotta start my own thing now. Laters. Lit. Take care. You gonna be streaming some games right now, Lit? Hey, NES Addict. We love some wings in the... We love some wings in the fridge. Enjoy. Or you left some wings in the fridge? I need to go edit some video. I hope you all have a great evening. Thanks for stopping by, man. Again, thank you also for the Pro Controller stands, man. They are really great, and I am putting them to good use as we speak. More of a flyer as well. I gotcha. Austin says, I miss Chad. I know. Even though Chad loves ARMS, I still miss him. It doesn't degrade my feelings for Chad, the fact that his favorite game is one that would not be very high on my list, I don't think, despite the fact that I got it, and I'm going to try to learn to appreciate it for his sake, because I want our friendship to be, you know, solid. And naturally that requires that I submit to his will that I play ARMS. So just out of curiosity, who else in here went to the, I mean, I think I know most of the people in here that went to the Southeast Game Exchange, but what was your favorite part of that experience? You know, I'm not the only person in this chat who went there, and Austin, I would be curious to hear what was your favorite part of the experience, considering, you know, you put the whole thing on and maintain it and make it available to all of us to enjoy. What was your favorite part of the convention, man? I mean, I know you had to be running around like crazy, but I would definitely be curious to hear from your perspective what you liked most about it. I love wings. I had school. Wings are tasty good. Daniel says, I gotta go, but enjoy the rest of your stream. I probably missed that. Daniel, you have a good night, man. He's probably already long gone. Next year, I really do want to go to too many games, mainly because that's where it seems like most of the Chill Squad was at, right? So if I want to, you know, hang out with like Rob Regal or Avedon or, you know, Chips and, you know, all the people I normally hang out with every Friday night over on Avedon's channel, they're going to be at too many games. Rax, which I thought Rax might make the trip for this, that would have been awesome, but, you know, I'm probably going to have to catch him at too many games probably next year. But that would be entirely new territory for me, so... Also, my favorite part is hearing the stories of people enjoying the event. You know what? That makes sense. I imagine that would be incredibly fulfilling. Yeah, I had an incredible time, man. Like, just can't say enough good things about it. You know, again, I'm going to try to come every year as much as I'm able. Have you ever met James from Cinemasker? No, I would love to meet James though. Like that's a dude who's also responsible for me getting into YouTube and probably focusing on gaming because I've been watching his stuff for years. Back when he was still the Angry Nintendo nerd before the shift to Angry Video Game Nerd, and now I feel like most of the stuff I see now from is less AVGN and more of the Cinemasker stuff. Like the Macaulay Culkin collaboration was incredible. Heading out, have a great week, everyone. 8-Bit, thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate it. You have an amazing week as well. Hanging out with everyone was the best part. Everybody was so awesome, even that one dude who totally forgot my face. Ooh, why do you do it to me, Philip? It's so mean. And I apologized, right? And again, to be fair, your face was not the same face as last year. It was dramatically different. Last year, you were Gandalfian. This year, you were more... somebody with a more closely trimmed video. Anyways, you were that guy. It was great seeing everybody again. A bunch of my trade group was there. Sega always has a real strong sense of community. That's awesome. Yeah, I still can't believe that somebody found a complete in-box Genesis for $40. Like, you're not going to be able to get, like, well, I guess that makes sense. I mean, old stuff would have more valuable than a newer console, I guess, but I still can't decide if I'm going to get the Genesis Mini when it drops, although from everything I've heard from the early impressions of that system, it's incredibly well done and has an attention to detail that is even greater than what we got from the SNES Classic or the NES Classic. Also, their pretzels were pretty deep. I'll tell you what, man, the pizza was solid. Normally, if I go to a convention or someplace like that, and they've got like this, little pizzas that you buy, I don't expect very much. They were surprisingly tasty. Like, Austin, you gotta make sure those pizzas are back there next year, man. I want more of that. That was good. Because I thought, because that's the other thing too, is like when you go to a con, you're like, is the food there going to be good, or am I going to have to take off somewhere to find something decent to eat that's not going to be crazy expensive? And I think I was able to get like basically not even like a small personal pan pizza, like a fairly big personal pan pizza and a Coke, and I think it was like $9 or $10, which is not the cheapest thing in the world, but certainly not breaking the bank. Like I've seen worse convention offerings. Like remember that hot dog that you got at E3, Austin? That was super expensive compared to the $5 amazing hot dog you could have gotten just outside. You should see if the hot dog ladies from LA can come out for your next convention. I think that should be an inclusion. Pizza was legit. I missed out on the pretzels. Yes, I didn't try the pretzels, but I agreed. Pizza was totally legit. Like, I was not expecting much, just because, convention food usually is not stellar. But that was super good. Like, I was real pleased with it. I love talking to all the content creators that are... Yeah. And that's the thing, man. Again, it's not just that you gain, like, insights or knowledge or collaborative opportunities with other creators by going to an event like this where you know everyone else is going to be, but also it's like as soon as I touched down, as soon as I got back home last night, I was like, I probably should just be going to sleep, but immediately I was like, yeah, let's start coming up with some new video ideas. Stuff. Like, I was fired up. They're just, again, when you hang out with people... Because I don't know about you guys, but normally in my day-to-day, I don't hang out directly with a lot of YouTubers who have that same sort of drive or excitement about their channel. Like Muzz from Level 1 Games, maybe, CM Retro, like I see him every now and then. But ultimately, that was the most I'd spent in close proximity to a bunch of like-minded sort of creators who are very excited about what they do on YouTube. They're super excited and passionate about video games. And to be surrounded by that for 2 days straight was it's like heaven, man. Like, it's just the two things that I'm most crazy about in the world. And then you're surrounded by people who have that same sort of tenacity towards those things. Love it. Oh, sorry, I totally read that wrong. Yeah, I thought the pizza was pretty tasty, so... all around, I guess to recap the whole recap of this video, I guess I would say that it was an amazing experience. If you're a gamer, of course you're going to have a good time. But if you're a gaming creator, I feel like it becomes borderline essential for you to come and hang out with other creators and, sort of get ideas or just encouragement from other people that you respect in the community. Just super fun. Like, honestly, I cannot wait for next year. The second I touched down in Columbus, I was like, it sucks that this is already over. I really wish that, I didn't have to wait a year again to hang out with all these guys. Lola, hello! You need to drop a pizza emoji, Lola. Nice to know people who can talk YouTube. Yeah, right? Because, like, if you talk to normies about YouTube, they're just like, they'll smile and nod a lot. They'll be like, that's really cute. But, if I talk to Russ about something, that's based in analytics or, like editing or pacing or something like that, or Final Cut Pro and the limitations that it has depending on the version you're on, I can have that conversation. My normal day-to-day, not so much. But, hanging out with a bunch of cool, gaming creators at the con, tremendous. Can't say enough good things about it. So, with all that being said, most of the people who are in this chat, or a lot of them, were definitely from the Southeast Game Exchange, and there wasn't a single creator at Southeast Game Exchange that I think that I wouldn't recommend. Everybody is super awesome. They all do content in their own unique way, and you should check out any of the channels you see here in chat because they are delightful. People first and creators second. So, all that being said, Austin, if you're still in here, thank you again for giving me the opportunity to come down there and do a panel. I had a great time doing it, and it was just super great, seriously, because again, an experience I was nervous about, and then I pushed through it and did it, and you gave me the chance to do that. Cannot say thank you enough. And thanks to all the other creators who are in this chat right now for being the amazing down-to-earth people that you are and making sure that I had a tremendous time just being in good company for 2 days. So, all that, lovey-dovey stuff out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and kill it here. But thank you guys for taking the time out of your evening to hang out in the chat. I hope that if you're completely new to the idea of the Southeast Game Exchange, that gave you some insight into what to expect. If you're a YouTube creator who's on the fence about going to it, I can promise you, you don't need to be. Just make it happen. You won't be disappointed. So, all that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'm going to go ahead and end the stream right now. And, go play some of these new pickups, which will remain a mystery. Oh, and then, yes, I will be back 8 a.m. tomorrow to talk about the panel experience and some of the things that I noticed in the course of doing it. That's what's up next. So, alright, you guys have a good night. I will catch you later.